super excited for today. Um, Super excited for today because we are having a very interesting pilot program uh, from the table of House of Tech Future Labs. Um, I'm particularly excited because this is one of the things that is required to make our society a better place. And what more than starting from students, providing them an understanding of what's the life outside of school looks like, and also helping them navigate, with a better compass. Um, this is a very interesting one, and I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has joined. We'll be starting at exactly 7 p.m., which is about 4 minutes from now. And while we wait for others to join, you can share the link with your friends. You can share the link in more communities for people to join and also be a part of this conversation. So you can do that in the next 4 minutes while we wait for others to join. Thank you so much for joining in early, and we'll start at exactly 7 p.m. All right, good evening, everyone. Um, Time check right now is 7 p.m. on Saturday, and we're live at exploring opportunities in tech as a student. Thank you all for joining. If you can hear me, please react with an emoji. You can send in an emoji, you can send in claps, and you can right there in the chat, you can let us know where you're joining us from. If you're joining us from Nigeria, which state, if you're joining us from outside of Nigeria, you can as well indicate that. I'm really excited. I love the energy. I love the energy. Thank you so much. Like I earlier shared, we can please share the link with others to join their lives, and we want every other person to be a part of such an impactful session that we'll be having this evening. Without wasting so much time, please, I would like us to, all right, I can see Baba Tunde Alimi is joining from Lagos, Nigeria. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us from Lagos, Nigeria. How is Lagos today? It's really cloudy where I am right now. I don't know if it's raining somewhere else in the part of the world. So I was speaking to a friend in the UK yesterday, and he mentioned they were experiencing severe heat, and I was wondering what's happening to our ozone layer because it's really cold here. It's been extremely cold, and we've also been experiencing a lot of rain, which is really good. So if you've been experiencing that cold in your area, you can also let us know in the comment section. All right, Israel Gbadamosi from Oshun, Nigeria, you're welcome. We're so excited to have you here. How is Oshun today? And I hope you're having a good time during this session. All right, please let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. You can share where you're joining us from. I can see a lot of us are joining in so early. I love this. Elizabeth Cole is joining from Lagos, Nigeria. All right, that's great. I can see so much energy from Lagos. Okay, I can see a lot of Lagos here. Wow, Barakatulai. So is also joining from Lagos. Igbeson Ulasukami is joining from Lagos. Welcome, welcome. I'm definitely going to pronounce this name incorrectly. Klaus, it is, I don't know if it's Klaus Signa. He's also joining from Lagos, Nigeria. From Lagos, Nigeria. I'm so happy to have you join us. I can see Marvelous from Ekiti. Oh, how is Ekiti today? I mean, I kind of like Ekiti because of the pounded yam. I don't know if you love Ekiti, you can just do it thumbs up. Okay, we have some people who love Ekiti as well. So let's keep. Please let's do well to share. Let's have more people join in as well. So if you're very happy to share with us, you can tell us how the weather is, at your end, if it's rainy, if it's cloudy, and if it's probably hot, which I know it's not possible. But let's keep let's keep emojis coming in, and let's keep the conversation going in the comment section. So while we have that, we already have a very good number on the call very early. So I think it's great for us to start right about now. I'll be talking us through the introduction of what the House of Tech Future Lab is all about. And uh, I'll just be sharing that with us briefly before we go to the next thing. So a lot of people joined this webinar maybe through a friend or someone told you about the webinar and you decided to join. So I wanted to share with us what House of Tech Future Lab is all about. So House of Tech is a tech community, right? And it is the biggest tech community in Nigeria, and yes, we're looking at Africa also because in our WhatsApp community we have 1,000 plus members, and we had to create another community to accommodate more people. because of how much we are. I personally, when I joined the community, I've experienced a tremendous and rapid growth in tech, and that's thanks to House of Tech. So, I mean, all of these put together is what the House of Tech is about. Now, adding the Future Labs, that is what I'm going to explain briefly. So, the House of Tech Future Lab is a youth focused extension of the House of Tech community. Like I explained, we have a tech community, and the House of Tech Future Lab is an extension of that community, and it is designed to provide early exposure, mentorship, career clarity, digital skills, innovation opportunities, and industry access to high school and tertiary institution students across Africa. So we might be starting from Nigeria here, but our goal is to expand beyond Nigeria. And the initiative exists to bridge the gap between education, technology, employability, and innovation by helping young Africans discover their career path early. We see that a lot of people, I mean, a lot of us here, especially people who went to school like from 27 or 9 or 19 something, I know, right? Some of us didn't really have that clarity, that clear part of, okay, what do I want to do, what are my plans and all of that. But this particular initiative is to ensure that people, the younger generation, have access to some sort of clarity and understanding into what they are going into the future to do, right? So it helps them discover their career path early. If you want to go into tech, you want to go to other areas of tech, maybe tech hiring, and all of that. This is what the House of Tech Future Lab tends to create. So if you have younger ones, if you have students around you, we want you to tell them about the House of Tech Future Lab, right? And part of that is bringing them on board to gain access to all this information, right? And um, lastly, our vision is to build Africa's most impactful youth focused technology ecosystem that equips students with the clarity, skill, exposure, mentorship, and opportunities needed to thrive in the digital economy. And that being said, I will just mention our mission as well. So our mission is to empower African students through technology exposure, practical digital education, mentorship, innovation programs, career development initiative, and access to opportunities that prepare them for the future of work and entrepreneurship. And that is why we are here. And our list of speakers already, give us an edge into that, because we have people who are in the career space, we have people who are coaches, we have people who are experienced in the field, right? They are going to be sharing with us insights today. So that is what the House of Tech is about. And like I said, yes, like I said, that's our focus. That's the introduction about future uh the House of Tech Future Labs. So thank you so much for listening to that. Right about now, we'll be moving. If you enjoyed that session, you can do a thumbs up. I love to see how many of us listened in and also got in, some very important details. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving your reaction. Right. So if on the flyer you see that we had sponsors for our event, and if you check the flyer, you see we have a particular sponsor by Cherry Beef Pots, and they will be walking us through what the company stands for, and they'll be speaking right about now. Hello, Emmanuel. Please, can you confirm you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello.
Hi, hi, Emmanuel. Thank you so much for being part of the call. You have the floor now to tell us more about your company. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll try to make this brief as possible. So first, I want to say a very big thank you to Tech for giving us the opportunity to be part of something um, this magnificent, right? I think in terms of vision and in terms of our discipline, we're very much aligned, right? And of course, I'm really glad to be here. And as a sponsor, Cyberport, actually, that's how it's been pronounced, is proud to support conversations like this because, students need and motivation, need the exposure, they need direction. Most importantly for me, I think that students need real access to opportunities. Again, before I continue, I want to introduce myself for those that do not know. Speaking, my name is Emmanuel, Head of Operations at Cyberport. Um, And we see that the topic here today is quite important, exploring opportunities in tech as a student. Many students think tech means only coding, and interestingly, that's not true, right? Tech has many doors. There is design, there is digital marketing, there is product management, there is data analysis, there is cybersecurity, AI tools, automation, and many more, right? But the most important thing is to start early, right? As a student, you have three advantages. The first thing is you have the time to learn, um, and the second is you're in a community where you can test ideas, right? And third, you can build your portfolio before the world start asking for experience, right? So, why am I saying this, right? At Cyberport, our belief is very simple. Young people should not wait until after school before they start building skills, earning, or even preparing for the future of work. Interestingly, I started building businesses from think at the age of I remember, like, but I knew I was an 100 level, right? I started off with um a web design company, right? Personally, I did a couple of websites for my school at that point in time. Think I made so much money from doing that. I did a lot of businesses back in school. I sold phones, quite a number of them, right? So we always had that notion that you don't have to wait till you're done with school before start earning. But the first thing is you need to learn the skills, and that's why at Sabaport we have a couple of programs that we have. We have digital marketing, we have video editing, right? So you can learn these courses and and you learn the skill, right? And the most interesting part is once you're done, we have um, you get paid while you're learning, right? You get paid while you're learning, and you're in a community where you can test your ideas, right? So far we've been able to employ well over 20 people, to place in different companies to work in those companies. So if you want to learn, Cyberport is that ecosystem for you, and while you're learning as well, it's not that oh I learn how do I make money? No, lately you're learning, right? We have streams for how you can make money, right? Either as an intern, and our platform as well, Cyber Work allows you to come on that platform as a talent, and companies will begin to test you, right? But I think the most important thing as a student for me is you get to build your portfolio before the world start asking for your experience, right? By the time I left uni, um, I'd gotten like I'm not exaggerating, but I think I built about 15 websites at that time. So after uni, when people were asking me, what's your portfolio? I'll just send them websites, right? Although some of them I built for free, but I was just trying to, build a portfolio, right? So the thing is, your phone should not only be for scrolling. Your laptop should not only be for assignments. Your internet should not even just be for entertainment. These things can also become tools for learning, for building, for earning, or even connecting to people opportunities, right? But opportunity will not always come to those that are passive, right? It will come to those that are necessarily very intentional. And if you want to show that you're intentional right now, one thing you should need to do is go to work.cyberport.com, and register. Start first as a paid task earner, right? Where we pay you for simple tasks that you do, whether you like a page, whether you fill a survey, whether you post on your status, we pay you for things like that. So be intentional, just don't be passive, right? Just don't say, these guys have come again. No, create an account, and we have a couple of tasks available for you to do, right? And the next thing is learn one skill and practice it, right? And build small projects, right? I've had several conversations where myself and terms of where we're working on certain things, and then they'll come and say, you really know how to do this thing, right? I mean, I've been coding from a very young age, right? I learned one skill, which is building websites and building apps, and I became extremely good at it, right? And I practiced it, did a lot of small projects. So document your work, show people what you can do actually, and join communities like House of Tech. Volunteer, I did that a lot. So to run all of this up, right? Um, you see, the students who will stand out are not those that only attend webinars. They are the ones who will take action after the webinar, right? I wanted that at the end of this, at the end of this webinar, you would take one action and say, I took the action from this particular webinar that I did. And my charge to everyone here is very simple. Don't just listen today. Pick one opportunity in tech and start working on it this week. If it's video editing, if it's digital marketing, you can go to our main website, cyberport.com, and put in for any of the programs. It used to be free previously, but it's no longer free. But still, putting your interest there, we'll see what we can do. Just ensure that we know that you're from House of Tech. We'll get something for you, right? And on behalf of Cyberport, we are happy to support this program. And most currently, we look forward to seeing more young Africans move from interest to skill, and from skill to proof, and from proof to opportunity. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. That's really, really amazing. I think a lot of people had an amazing time listening to you. I can see so many reactions right there. Thank you so much. And your company is building what every student needs right now, a portfolio even before you start working on projects. That's quite interesting, and there's so much opportunity for you if you are on this call for being part of this webinar. And I think one thing that he said that really aligns is it's not just enough to just attend webinars. It's when you take next steps, that's what makes you, better. That's what makes you 10 times, amazing. All right. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Emmanuel. Going forward, we'll be having a short trivia, and you're just going to participate in that in the comment section. So we're going to be asking a this or that question. So you just make your choice in the comment section. So between morning study or night study, which do you like? So I believe there are a lot of students here, so you can give your votes right there in the comment section. Between morning study or night study, which do you like? I think I would like to ask this question also because we are in the age of AI. Between Gemini and ChatGPT, which is a more amazing AI? So you can also let us know right there in the comment section. I think Precious is on this call. So Precious, you can help us type these trivia questions in the comment section and people can cast their votes. And I think the last one I'll be asking is, do you prefer a remote work or a corporate 95, a physical corporate 95? All right. I can see a lot of answers already coming in. We'll just use that to um okay. Ezekiel says he likes nights and he prefers remote. All right. Okay, Bark like says she likes all of to read in the morning. That's really interesting. Oluwatimileye says nights, Chioma nights, night study. We have a lot of people who want night study. Okay, obviously remote. I prefer night study. So let's get our responses for if between ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a better AI. All right, we can keep our comments coming in, but while we move on to the next thing on our table. All right, I'll be moving straight into introducing our speakers because I mean that's the essence of why we are here, and we don't want to take so much time because it's a Saturday evening. Some people probably need to get back to their nightlife. Some people are probably preparing to go for nightlives, while some people are probably coming back from evening life. Because if you're coming back from evening life, this is probably your time. All right, please just keep the comments coming in. I really love reading it. All right, okay, so let me introduce our speakers. Our first speaker for today. So just an heads up, it's gonna be a panel session, and we're going to be asking our speakers questions. And after that, we'll have a Q&A session where you can also ask your questions. But I think what would be great is while we're having this session and you think of questions you want to ask, or maybe you've read um their portfolio or their profile, and you want to ask some specific question, you can as well drop that in the chat, and when it's time for Q&A, we'll read it out for the speakers. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, before we go ahead, I would like to give a special shout out to all our sponsors that make this event possible. Savvy, Lema Bank, Cherry Pods, Creators Gigs, and Elder. Thank you so much for making these events possible. And we are very grateful for giving the young students an opportunity to navigate. I also like to confirm if all our speakers are already on the call. Please, I would like at this time for the speakers to please do a thumbs up so I'm sure we all right, thank you. All right, so I'm going to read our speaker's profile. So our first speaker for today is Mr. Olasukomi Igbason. He's a software engineer at Octosoft Technologies. Mr. Olasukomi is a software engineer with over 3 years of experience designing, building, and maintaining scalable backend systems and business critical applications. He has worked across multiple industries, including logistics, prop tech, and fintech, delivering solutions that improve operational efficiency, automate business processes, and support seamless user experiences. Currently working as a backend engineer at Octosoft Technologies, his experience spans developing secure and reliable services, integrating third-party platforms and building systems that support high-growth business environments. Beyond backend development, Olasukomi has strong experience with automation platforms, cloud-based deployments, and process optimization. Is passionate about creating maintainable software solutions, improving engineering workflows. His professional interests include backend engineering, distributed systems, automation, DevOps practices, and building scalable products that deliver measurable business value. Please, with a clapping ovation, let's welcome Mr. Olasukomi. Mr. Olasukomi, you can just confirm by saying hello to everyone.
Good evening, everybody. It's an
Good
opportunity.
evening. So nice to Good evening. So nice to have you.
Good
Thank
evening.
you
Good
so
evening.
much. All right. Moving on to our next speaker, we have Mr. Osho Temitayo Michael. He's a digital growth strategist, is a content marketer, a no-code builder, and founder of Creator Geeks Africa, a platform helping brands and creators collaborate more effectively across Africa. He has worked with startups, SaaS companies, and creator focused brands, and regularly share insights on content marketing, creator monetization, audience Pasha Temitayo. Hello, Mr. Temitayo. Can you confirm you can hear us?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. Let me just try to turn this on. Hello, good evening, everyone. How are you doing?
Okay, you can hear us, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Please say hello to the team.
I thought I said hello, everyone. Good evening.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I already
Good
mentioned
evening,
that.
sir.
Good evening. Good
All
evening.
right.
It's nice meeting everyone.
Okay, good evening. Good evening and welcome. Thank you so much. We're
Good
so
evening.
excited to
Welcome.
have you. Yeah, thank you so much. All right, moving on to our next speaker, Mr. Babatunde Alimi. Mr. Babatunde Alimi is a senior business development manager and an early career coach. Babatunde Alimi is an experienced professional in the world of digital advertising and human resources. He's a senior business development manager at Eskimi, where he partners with local and internal brands on advertising technology. He is the founder of Index Nigeria, where he has provided guidance to over 300 job seekers starting or transitioning in their career. With a clap innovation, let's welcome Mr. Babatunde Alimi. Hello, Mr. Babatunde, can you hear me?
Hello. Hi. Good evening to everyone. Nice to be with you here.
Good evening. Thank you so much. We're so happy to have you join. This evening, we have Mr. Franklin Simon. Mr. Mr. Franklin Simon is a serial entrepreneur, is a co-founder at Sin Limited. Is also a business consultant. Is a seasoned with a track record of building first of its kind ventures from the ground up. Beginning his entrepreneurial journey at age 18, he has consistently identified market gaps and turned them into thriving businesses. From student media to community platforms to food delivery and enterprise SaaS. He brings a rare combination of grassroots hustle and high level strategic consulting, having delivered transformative impact at the highest level of government and business. With a clapping ovation, let's welcome Mr. Franklin Simon. Hello, Mr. Franklin. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. Looking forward to having a great session with you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Thank you. Yes, we can. Good
Okay.
evening.
Good
It's so
evening. It's a
nice
pleasure
to
to be
have you
here.
here.
Yeah, thanks for having
Thank
me.
you so much. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, our speakers, for being part of this. If you're just joining us, or you probably don't know what's happening here, um, we are having a webinar titled Exploring Opportunities in Tech as a Student. And we've just introduced all our speakers who will be joining us on the panel session right about now. But before we go straight into why we are here, let's go through responses from the trivia questions and we can get into asking our speakers questions. All right. So between ChatGPT and Gemini, Augustine says ChatGPT, Chioma, Gemini. We have Lucky says he like night and remote work. Charles Okote says ChatGPT, he like night study and he loves a remote work. So while we are on the call, please, the link to the House of Tech community has been shared. You can as well join the community, have a great time. Just for a backstory, I got my first tech job from the House of Tech. I attended my first tech event from the House of Tech and a lot of other things. So I highly recommend, not because I'm hosting this, but because it's a place where you're going to get valuable opportunities. So I think our speakers have caught their breath and we can get started immediately. All right. All right. I think we can get started right about now. I'll be asking. So, like I said earlier, if you just joined, please, if you have questions and you want to ask the speakers, or from you've read their profile and you have specific questions you want to ask, please do well to send that in the chat section, and we'll attend to that once it's time for question and answers. All right, I think I'll start with Mr. Olasukomi. Please, can you confirm you can hear me?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
I think we're still host.
We can hear you, sir.
Oh, okay. Good evening, everyone. So once again, it's a pleasure to be here. I was expecting this to be a panel session and questions first, but I'm guessing this is the cue to just go right into it. So give me a minute, let me get my slides up. Okay. So first, exploring opportunities in tech as a student. I know many of us here are students and we have, we all are familiar with the technologies and the technologies that, to get started in tech and the different opportunities there in tech, whether it is front-end engineering, back-end engineering, product, and, DevOps engineering. The case maybe. But I think I would like to speak about something many people do not speak about often, and which is focusing on community and pipeline in the university or wherever you find yourself. But why am I focusing on pipelines? Now, every university or most universities have a working pipeline that gets their students from being a student to getting experience and exporting their talent. For example, one I'm very familiar with is the Unilag to Goldman Sachs pipeline, or Unilag to JP Morgan pipeline. That pipeline is a very active pipeline in Unilag. I studied German language in Obafemi Awolowo University, and I can say for sure that about 60 to 70% of the graduates in that department are either in Germany or in the USA right now, as long as you are interested in furthering your studies in German. There is a working pipeline in that department. You finish as a German student, you get into Goethe Institute, and from Goethe Institute, you are exported to Germany. It's a working pipeline that has been used and reused over the years. Every university has and community have this pipeline, right? Outside whatever skill you're building, whatever skill you're learning, whether it is front end or back end, community is very, very important. Community and locking in on the pipeline that is available in your university is a very important skill, and not so many people clock this early. I'm speaking from experience because I started tech, after I graduated. I had graduated from uni already Then I started tech. Then that was when I began to notice these things, when I began to, interact with a lot of graduates or Unilag. You speak to someone from Unilag and it's like in like a year is in the UK for internship in JP Morgan, then somebody else, Goldman Sachs. Then you begin to interact with all of them. Then you come to find out that there is a pipeline in the university that works for their students. So regardless of whatever you study or whatever skill you're learning, that working pipeline is very important for you to be able to get more jobs, right? Talent can get you into the door, right? In tech, yes, talent can open your first door for you. But when you're in the working ecosystem, right, the jobs can come continuously, right? Another thing is communities, right? As a student, you want to join communities very early, and there are a lot of community and student areas, and this is easy because everybody is a student. Everybody there are students, right? You can easily connect with somebody. You'll be surprised that you'll speak to senior engineers who are probably in their fourth year or fifth year, and you can just easily walk up to them because you're both students and you can easily connect. Unlike when you leave uni, connecting with individuals is not as easy as it is when you're in a student environment. So community is important, looking in on the pipeline that works in your that works in your environment is also very important, right? Some pipelines are not as loud as others, right? I'm speaking. I know of the Unilagon because it's a very popular. It's out there on Twitter. Every year you just see somebody from Unilag posting, "Oh, I just got into JP Morgan. Oh, I just got into Goldman Sachs." It's everybody knows about the pipeline. It's a working pipeline, right? In OAU too, right? Like I said, I graduated before I started work. Before I got my first job in tech, or before I even started learning in tech, right? So I tried to connect to some people, but it was pretty late, right? But a few persons I was able to connect with in a year or two, they were out of the country, right? They were out of the country, which was was happening rapidly. So I began to speak to, how are you living? How is this guy able to live? And that is when you begin to understand that there is a community there on campus, right? Maybe not, again, like I said, some are not as loud as others, but there is community on campus. There is Google is doing something. The first place they bring you to is, okay, let's go to Unilag, right? Or let's go to Futa, because it is easier to build as student outside of whatever skill you're learning. A building and being part of a very active community is very, very important. In fact, it is one very underrated thing that a lot of people often overlook, because you're thinking, okay, I need to learn how to become a backend engineer. I need to learn how to become a DevOps engineer. But the truth is, you can learn on the job, right? I'm a firm believer of there is nothing you cannot learn on the job, right? A lot of times you're going to get jobs in tech, and when you're starting, you might not even have a very good understanding of what you're doing. But like every job, you get on the job, day in, day out, as long as you work in and you put in your best, you're going to have a good understanding of what's going on, right? But
Absolutely. Can
sorry,
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yeah.
you.
Yes. Thank you. Now I was following. I was just waiting so that I can ask further questions. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. I mean, one key thing he has emphasized is community, and like he's saying, you just have to learn on the job. And I think a lot of people, especially students, have that dilemma where they're like, "Oh, I want to learn this, I want to learn that." I think you need to start from somewhere, and that's most importantly in a community. I think I'll direct the next question to Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, can you confirm you can hear me? Hello. Okay, I don't know if okay, I can just Sasha, can you hear me please? You could unmute and speak. All right, while we wait for him, I can just send my next question to. Hello, Mr. Franklin. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. I think my reception was down. The question
Oh,
was
okay.
asked to me. Yes?
Yes, I just wanted to ask the question, but I wanted to confirm if you could hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So
Yes,
my
yes, I can.
question is, as a digital growth strategist and also the founder of Creator Geeks Africa, you emphasize, the need to uh, have like a digital leverage. So for students who don't want to write code, but they want to break into tech, what specific high income, non-technical skill should they focus on?
In my opinion, almost all skills are high income at this point. Almost all skills on the
Mm,
internet are high income. The most important thing, there are three things that determine if you are going to be the one who gets paid the most with any skill you are actually going to take up in life. The first is, are you the best when it comes to that skill comparably to others in the same department like you? Number two, how easy is it to find somebody to replace you?
mm,
Then number three, I think the third one should be, I think the first one is how easy it is to find someone to replace you. How hard it is to actually execute whatever skill or task you're actually taking up, whatever skill, whatever. So now let's pick video editing, for example. Video editing is something that actually takes a lot of time. Obviously, there are many AI tools that they are building to do generic editing, try to make different editing styles and stuff like that. But it takes a lot of time for video editing to be done, right? So it's a
yes.
grueling task. It's a grueling task that most people avoid doing. And of course, if you're somebody who is able to do it, then you can make money from it. That's number one. Now, compare that person to somebody whose skill is something like maybe writing, for example. Writing is something that's almost accessible to everybody in recent times. You can write using ChatGPT, you can write using uh, Gemini, you can write using Claude, and so on and so forth. So writing is obviously uh, more accessible to most people. So obviously, it is easy to replace a writer. To most people, it is easy to replace a writer. So, but when it comes to something like creative writing, we are talking about creative writing, we are talking about sales copywriting. Yes, there are here that can actually help you with sales copy, write copies for you. But when it comes to somebody who is skilled at it, even no matter how good the AI is, when somebody is skilled at that writing, because when it comes to writing, I've been a writer as well. When it comes to writing, there are different angles for you to do sales copywriting. Are you guys following?
Yes, we are with you.
So there are different angles for you to do something like sales copywriting. Now, sales copywriting on the or copywriting or writing on the basic level is considered a skill that's okay, almost everybody can access and it's easy to replace you at that level. But if you're somebody who is good at writing a piece of copy that actually makes people buy, because there are different angles you can use. Give ChatGPT, give Gemini a copy, and give it to me. Give me the same sales copy or brief that you gave to ChatGPT. I'll give you a better copy with ChatGPT or with Gemini or with Claude because I'm a copywriter, right? So
Yeah.
the most important thing is the skill must be something that is relatively, or whatever you are picking, whatever skill you are picking, you are relatively hard to replace when it comes to that skill. Number two, pick something that is relatively hard to find somebody who is good at, or something you really feel like you can get better at. Then most importantly, make sure that you are not easy to be replaced. So any skill, in my opinion, is actually a good skill to pick up right now. You can pick low code development, you can pick web design, you can pick even web design. Yes, lovable designs. Many people do lovable designs and so on and so forth. But when it comes to designing landing page, sales landing pages, you can give it to Claude and you can give it to all the AI of the world, and they will not design or write a copy or a page that actually works for the Nigerian audience or that works for the Nigerian student and so on and so forth. So you, that's a copywriter that understands the audience, that can do the research, can learn more, understand more, and build landing pages, build websites that actually convert better. So at the end of the day, all skills, in my opinion, are still high income skills. The most important thing is, are you a high income person? That's the most important thing.
Thank you very much. I mean, that's very key. Are you a high, like you just have to develop yourself to be an high income person, not, just the other way around where you're doing something like everybody's doing. Everybody's using AI to design, or how efficient is your own design? Thank you very much for that insight, Mr. Shaw. All right. Mr. Franklin, I think I'll be asking you the next question. Can you confirm you can hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. So you have a very interesting entrepreneurial journey. You started when you were just 18, which is still very interesting for me. I don't know if I should say this, but I mean, hustle at 18 is, very interesting. So what advice do you have for a student, right, who has an innovative business idea? They have this flash of idea that just comes, but feels limited by lack of capital, technical resources, or a team. So how do they have that
Okay.
go to do it energy?
Okay. That's a great question. I like to say the student environment is actually the easiest to make money off, and it's actually the easiest to start up with zero capital, right? I would like to use myself for example. In my time in school, um, though I did a couple of businesses, right? My first, multi-million was actually when I was in school, right? When I was no, when I sold my business. It was actually a lot easier for me to start, right? With zero capital. Obviously, we're all students, we are broke, right? And get something off the ground. Because one thing that you have is you have a large number of people in a very little square, let's say land area. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to sell to them once you have something, and once what everyone should once students, we should all understand about students is that even if our pocket money, let me just be like, even if our pocket money wasn't so much, but the little we had, it's a lot easier to get money from a student because there's no additional responsibility from them, right? If it finishes, they could call home. So let me start by my first business, which was if in fact it was a day after I got into university, right? A day after I entered the school. It was just the next day I actually, started doing my first stuff, right? I was hosting student parties. So immediately I got into school, though I'd been communicating with a friend of mine that was in school. And as I got into school, we decided to do a matric party for freshers. That was like the next day, because I resumed a bit late, right? The next day we did our first stuff. Though it flopped massively. The little pocket money I had, that I was giving from home. We just were three, four guys, just put it up together, rented a hub, did flyers, just went to different departments and all that. So as a student, it's a lot easier for you. It's harder. It's easier to start stuff in school than outside school because like you have a lot of people in a very small area. You have your classmates, your course-mates, in the next department. Just you have hostels, you have this, you have that. So whatever idea you have, right? Just start it, and you might not even need money. A lot of times, I would even take their money to go start the business, right? I mean, okay, I want to sell something, for example, right? I just find a group of people. I don't start this stuff. I don't start them. I'll take the money. Okay, give me the money. Then I'll go use the money and purchase the product I then deliver to them, right? But that is a lot harder to do when you're outside the campus because the trust isn't there. But when you're in school, it's a lot easier. When I mean 10x easier to start up once you have enough drive, you have enough hustle, and you're I wouldn't say the people's person because introverts, if I say the people's person, a lot of people will be limited. Oh, I'm an introvert, I don't go out much, right? But once you get into the space of entrepreneurship, right, um, you tend to be a lot more extroverted, right? Because you might have that more, you might have that more drive to communicate with people. Do you get so? But once you just have that additional hustle, it's a lot easier to start off with very little capital. Just speak to enough people, share your ideas with them, and those that want to partner with you will partner with you. Those that wouldn't want to partner with you, you move on to the next person. But with enough hustle, you can start. Yes, I think that pretty much answers it.
Hmm, that's very insightful. Because I mean, like that's what you mentioned, that the school or the university is the best place to start business is very true because we have like 1,000, 2,000. Some schools we even have 10,000 people in just a
Exactly.
small
In a
landmass.
small
So
space.
yes,
Yeah.
that's definitely true. Yeah, and having access to that community, to be your testers, to be your customers, I mean, to be your team is a great advantage. So sometimes you see a lot of students say things like, oh, they can't start a business in school because they need money, they need to do this. But no, I think based on what Mr. Franklin has said, it has, I believe it should shift your mindset from just you want a lot of money to you using your network of persons available to you. All right. Thank you very much for that answer, Mr. Franklin. Okay, Mr. Babatunde, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. So, you have a strong background. Your background bridges digital advertising, business development, and HR. So, my question would be for a student looking to position themselves for corporate roles, what fundamental business or professional skill should they develop that schools completely fail to teach? I don't know if you got my question.
Yes, I got your question. I got your
All
question.
right.
So, I would say, in my experience, right, when students or early graduates of from the university are really looking for roles, and they usually assume that they really need to fill up their resumes with work experience a lot. And I think one of the things I usually mention to them is when you identify the skills that you are interested in, right? It makes things easier. And for many companies, many organizations that have tech driven, that are innovation focused, one skill they look out for is one of the skills I would say that they look out for is people who are curious. Let me call it that. People who have a mindset of being curious, staying curious, about new things. People who are not just looking at being uh, not with the static mindset, with a growth mindset. So they look out for people with interest in problem solving most of the time, because organizations will always have problems, right? It could be technical, it could be, um, you know, it could be human, it could be personal, it could be professional, right? It could be really conflict and anything. But they look for problem solvers easily. And the innovation in tech today is coming from a place of problem solving, right? Trying to, solve problems that already exist in systems. So problem solving is one of the key things that they look out for. While many might want to see how much you are in touch with, you know, I would say, I don't want to say the digital space, but they also look out for people who are in touch with, you know, the evolution of technology in itself. They are keen most of the time, very keen to look out for people who are navigating or gravitating towards the future when it comes to, their present.
Okay. Can you
Is
still hear me, Mr. Babatunde?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, lost
All
me.
right, great.
So they're looking
Awesome.
majorly for problem solvers, right? That's one of the very top skills they're looking out for. People who are, of a growth mindset, people who are already positioning themselves, to certain skills, either in tech, especially because they understand that you're coming from a background where you already have your mobile device, your phone, and that gives you an opportunity to, invest in yourself. So when you invest in yourself in certain skills, tech skills, it could be like it was said, video editing. It could be basically, your ability to do cloud computing, UI UX design, product management, blockchain and Web3. they understand that you're coming from a background where you likely don't have these facilities in place to learn these things, but you've invested in yourself. So problem solving, investing in yourself is also a skill in a sense. And when you have this, I think businesses are always looking out for this kind of people because they believe you are navigating towards the future.
Hmm. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think at this point, a lot of people listening should know that you writing in your CV that you can work under pressure is not what HRs are looking for. Thank you so much, Mr. Adivi. I think a lot of people write, "Oh, I can work under pressure." We don't need that anymore. This is 2026, and we need you to have a futuristic skill that makes you hireable. Thank you very much for that insight. Hello, Mr. Olasukomi. I think my next question will be directed to you. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so you're a software engineer and you specialize in the most difficult part, which is the backend systems, and also technical masteries takes a lot of time. I personally have built some projects with a few developers, and I hear that a lot. Backend is still working on it. So for a student just starting out with coding, right? How should they structure their learning so they don't get overwhelmed by the endless sea of programming languages and frameworks and then AI and then JSON and all of the things happening right now? So how should they put a structure around their learning?
Okay, so thank you for that question. Um, I think one of the best ways to structure um, students can structure their learning to not get overwhelmed is one, take it one at a time, right?
Hmm.
A lot of people, when they are getting started in tech, you hear a lot of things like, oh, I want to learn full stack engineering. I want to learn backend engineering and learn how payment works. There's a whole lot of things that you need to learn before you before you get mastery over some things, right? You need to put in your 10,000 hours. I think when it comes to structure as a student, one, tech should not interrupt or should not disrupt your schoolwork, right?
Hmm.
One ways you can get experience, right, while working and structure is one, take it one at a time, build slowly, right? You want to learn slowly. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. Learn slowly, learn one at a time, build small project. I think one of the speakers said that um, during his span of 4 years in uni, he had built over 13 websites, right? Start small, learn small. Within a month, you can learn how to build a website. Then in 3 months, you can go further and say, okay, I want to learn how backend system works. I want to understand what APIs are. Start small. It is easier to start small and build on the knowledge as you go than because that can be very overwhelming. I think we all can agree on that. It can be very overwhelming. Starting very
Definitely.
is is key. You want to learn small. You want to build small backend APIs, like a blog project, like a simple get API, something very small that you can always build on the knowledge.
Hmm. Thank you so much for that. I think baby steps. That's the summary.
Yes.
Take baby steps. Yeah, like from what you said, a lot of people want to do so many things at the same time. They want to learn backend, they want to learn front end, they want to learn UX. I feel the society is kind of contributing to that because sometimes they just keep telling you that what HRs are requesting is changing. So you just see people just chasing different things. So I would like to ask a follow-up question to that, Mr. Laskumi, to say people to do small projects, do it slowly and all of that. So how critical is contributing to open source projects or participating in developers community for students, how does that affect, their future outcome right, in the bigger space?
Okay, so when I spoke earlier, I started with, I would always advise that you build with community, right? You join a community, you're part of something, you're part of a group of people doing something, right? So open source project is a very great way to start, right? With open source project, you're building with people who are, many of the people who contribute to open source people are project already in the industry, right? You're building with the you're building with industry people and you're learning industry standard, right? So as a student, if you're building and you're contributing to, say, a notification API, and you'll find out that many of the maintainers have 7 years experience, 8 years experience. They're seniors, right? They're seniors, and many of them are managers. You're not just learning how to build, you're learning how to build at the industry level without the pressure that comes with working full time, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Let me repeat that again. So if you're employed full time, right, there is a standard that you're expected to meet up, right? Your team lead, your senior managers already expect that, okay, there are concepts that you already have a very good grasp of, right? You can do this, you can probably build with Kafka, build distributed systems when you might not have that experience. Now, as a student, when you get into open source, right? Open source projects, they build with industry standard. That one is certain. They build with industry standard. So as a student contributing to open source, you're learning open source, you're learning industry standard without the pressure that comes um, of working full time, because you're learning industry standard code, you're learning how to write good code, clean code, maintainable code, and you're learning at your pace, because open standard, how open source works is nobody pressures you to, oh, you must open a ticket, you must close a ticket today and today, like your manager would or like your PM would, right? So you're learning industry standard without the pressure that comes with it. So I think open source is a very great start for students. So
Thank you. I mean, I like the very thing you emphasize there, without the pressure of, working with a direct PM or working with an actual HR who is requesting you to deliver a job of 7 years of experience. Yeah. So for anyone listening right now, please take this advice. Don't, because I think from what you just said, I see a lot of young people, even people that are still in school, they're in their 300 level, and then you tell them they should do an internship. It's just a free job, get on it just for your portfolio. They're like, oh, what is in for them? I think it's getting really terrible. And when I see such situations, I'm in a dilemma. I'm like, okay, should I be angry? Should I not be angry? Should I just understand that, okay, they also have needs? And I also understand that, the economy and all of that. But still, most of us who got to where we are by, doing things either for free, taking up jobs that wasn't comfortable, learning with professionals, just for free. You're not being paid, you're not being given data or anything, but you just want the experience. So I want as many as are listening to this webinar right now. Don't just say because I'm a student, I have to be paid a stipend. You're asking for 500K and you don't have the experience. Learn, build your portfolio, build your CV, gain experience with top leaders, and you do really amazing. All right. I think in line with that, I'm going to ask Mr. Osho. Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed with the question, please.
Okay, thank you. So I see a lot of people, say, oh, you need to be on LinkedIn or Twitter as a student or as an individual to build your personal brand. So I want you to speak more on how can students effectively utilize these platforms like Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn to build a personal brand that actively attracts tech companies or freelance clients before they even graduate.
Hmm, that's a pretty deep question. Um, well, I think the internet has done a kind of, and for those people who are tech enthusiasts, in the past couple of months, years now, I think it's about 2 or 3 years now, it has done a very drastic change. It has had a very drastic change, and especially with the advent of AI. And the internet is quite different from what it used to be. So if you are somebody who is considering a personal brand, I think we just have to just understand that brand, that word, personal brand, is split into two different things. It's split into personal and it's split into brand, right?
Yeah.
And the internet is just one place to build a brand, right? The most important thing is that personal. Personal can be done both online and offline.
Interesting.
Your communication with people, the people you meet, you network with, that's your personal. It's the personal aspect of the whole thing. Now, when it comes to building personal brand online, it's you coming online as that person that is met offline as well, or that people meet offline as well. So one of the most important things with the changed internet is that the AI infrastructure of the current internet is trying to create a, how do you call it? It's just more or less like personal brand. The word personal brand is creating a persona for each person. It is trying as much as possible to say, okay, do I know who Oshotemitayo Michael is on the internet right now? Do I know who Mr. Babatunde Alimi is on the internet right now? The internet is trying to identify each person. If you put in my name on Google or whatever, you're going to see a little bit of information about me. So if you are a student, one of the most important things you want to do is when you look at the internet right now, like I just said, if you Google my name, you're going to see a little bit of information about me. One of the most important things about the personal brand of the internet is what it knows, or what the AI knows is something you can decide. That is the very funny thing about the current internet. Before, it used to be whatever is online or whatever the AI can get or whatever the internet can get about you is what it provides. But right now, it is something that is possible to manipulate, right? And if you are a student, if you are a student on campus, if you are trying to work with anybody, understand, believe me, you that every single information you share online, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, or whatever platform, the current internet is trying to pull it together to try to form an understanding of who you are, right? It is trying to identify who you are. In fact, it's even one of the reasons why in the last event I was invited to speak, I actually told a lot of them that to be careful of over what they share on the internet in the current age. It is now trying to pull all those information together and say, okay, this person, this is this person. This information here, this is this person. That information there, this is this person. That is what the internet is trying to do right now. And in the next couple of years, it will be solidifying that information in such a way that it won't be changed. Then number two, it also means if it can be manipulated, it also means some other person can decide what the internet says about you. So which means you also need to be very careful about your personal offline, the kind of person you are offline. It is very, very important as well in the current internet age. Now, when we talk about how do you make sure that that helps you, or building that personal brand or that persona the internet is trying to identify, there is a lot of technical and easy ways it's done. I usually share the information on my social media, where how it can be done for brands, how it can be done for personalities, and so on and so forth. But the most important part about the current internet is, if you want to make sure that that contributes to you getting job, or you appearing as somebody who is viable or who has this particular skill on the internet, you need to make sure that you share. I think it's as simple and as straightforward. The internet it has gotten so much easier than years ago. Just make sure you share. When I was getting into this call, I used the name Temitayo Michael. Everybody can see it. But when I was invited to join this particular broadcast, I said use a short Temitayo Michael. There is a reason why I gave the 3 names instead of 2. I did it on purpose. Giving the 3 names is one of the strategies. Giving the 3 names means it is quite easy for the internet to identify me compared to all the Temitayo Michael out there, or the short Temitayo out there. 3 names makes it solidified as, okay, this is the same person that they are talking about, right? So once you understand all these technical things, it helps you solidify your personal brand on the internet in recent times, right? And the funny thing is, when founders, when employers, sorry, they want to do background check on you, the first thing they will do is to search your name. That's the first thing they will do. There was a time when I searched the name of some of my friends then, of let's just say I call them friends because everybody attended the same school. I'm a Ladokite and Lautech alumni. If you're somebody who is in Lautech or who went to Lautech, I'm a Lautech alumni. So when we searched their name, they had some law problem then. They had a problem with the law enforcement then, and their name were coming up under that particular problem, right? So if I was an HR person and I saw somebody that has gone, I searched their name and I see that they have had an encounter with law enforcement, then there is a problem, right? So if you are a student right now, every single volunteer, every single internship contributes to building that persona. Just make sure you share to the internet so that the narrative that builds your personal brand is determined by you. Yes, it is actually possible to bury. You can bury, right? When people say something bad about you, there are strategies again that we use to bury. It's all about content marketing, growth marketing, and stuff like that. So, but if you are somebody who is trying to build your personal brand online, understand that the internet right now is very easy to manipulate, and what the internet knows about you is determined by you. Number two, I think I should dive back into this. If you're somebody who believes that, how do you call it? I don't want to be seen online. I don't want to be known online or whatever. It is not something that is going to be good for you in the current age or in the current generation. You will be doing a lot more compared to somebody who is online or who is determining what the internet knows about them. Somebody who is manipulating the internet to decide what the internet knows about them. You'll be doing a lot more convincing people who want to work with you of your prowess. I can easily tell an employer now, okay, an employer wants to work with me. I can easily tell you, Google my name. I came here and I said, Google my name. So once I say Google my name and you decide to go ahead and Google it, in fact, search ask Instagram AI my name, ask that's Meta AI, ask it about my name, ask ChatGPT, ask Google Gemini about my name. It is very likely if you type the three names that is going to bring out my persona and links to my profiles. If you want my phone number from here, you can actually get my phone number from searching about my name. The information about me you're going to get almost instantly, right? So building that takes time and it takes sharing. So make sure that as a student, whatever you participate in, whatever you maybe build LinkedIn, build Twitter, whichever one you like. I prefer LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn chronically. I use Instagram. You can use Reddit. You can use whatever social media. You can use as much as 3 or 4 of them or 5 of them. The narrative is determined by you. So whatever you do, whatever evidences you have of what you participated in, make sure they are consistently being shared online, because the internet is doing what? It's trying to agglomerate all this information to build your persona.
Thank you so much for that insight. I mean, I spent my time writing down a few things because I think I also need to write that as well. Thank you so much. I mean, these are free information that you pay millions for, for a brand strategist to tell you about. Please, I really hope that we are jotting down important details where we are. Thank you so much, Mr. Timitayo. Now that we're talking about, putting yourself out there, I think I would like to direct my question to Mr. Babatunde. Mr. Babatunde, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. So, Mr. Timoteo has mentioned a few things about building a brand online and how the HRs can definitely just search your name and everything pops up. So, what are the top 2 green flags that makes a student applicant, make them instantly stand out in a stack of entry-level applications? What I mean by that is there's this level student who is applying to Octosoft technologies, and there is stack of entry-level people coming in. What are the 2 green flags that makes them stand out?
Okay, so, well, I think I'll approach it from this angle. HR managers always see students as, especially most of them, I mean, it's just believed there's no experience coming from there. And one of the top green flags that they will try to look out for is the kind of commitment, or should I say, the level of commitment you have and how much depth you've given over a long period of time. For example, say you claim to be applying for a graphic design role, you're a graphic designer and more. You know how to use some of the best tech tools in the world, or at least in Nigeria, let's say. And they're going to look out for how long you've stayed true to that narrative, the level of commitment you have. They're going to look out for the level of curiosity you also have, in pursuing that role or that career that you've put over for yourself. So it's one of the things that HR people look out for, the level of commitment that you actually have. It makes you stand out, because if you claim to be someone with a particular skill set, or you're applying for a particular role, they want to understand the little time you've dedicated to that craft over a long period of time, and how authentic you are to that commitment. That's one of the top ones. And I think self-directed projects also help very much. And I've seen this in some recruitments I've done, where it became very important to look out for what have you done outside work, outside a paid task. Not necessarily volunteering now, but what task, what project have you committed yourself to, to also help you become better at what you do in this space, or what you're applying to do, even though you are not maybe employed before the invest. And I think that's a wrong notion, by the way, another conversation. You could be employed, right? But what have you done as a self-directed project? You started from the scratch, you sustained it up until completion, you saw it through. Those are some of the things that HR people look out for. They're not really after impact. They're not looking after maybe quantity at that point in time. For you, they're looking at the quality of who you are and how it represents you at that point in time, without without the opportunities coming in yet. Your level of commitment to show depth over a period of time. It could be 2 years, 3 years, and then the project you've directed, you've begun, you completed all by yourself. They look out for that.
That's a very enlightening mention there. Thank you very much about it, because I mean, a lot of people are also shy of applying because they think they're just in 300 level. They need a lot of experience, to get into like as to how you should position yourself when applying for a job. Okay, Mr. Frankie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you
All
very
right.
much.
Okay, thank you. So my question will be, you said you started, entrepreneurship immediately you resumed, which is quite challenging, right? A lot of freshers by then are still trying to submit their files, or they're still trying to do, a lot of cool things. So I would like to ask, what is the most important mindset shift, right, that is required, right, when moving from simply doing, school activities to building a scalable, first of its kind, business venture in a competitive market?
Okay.
Please get.
That's Yes, I do. I got the question. So, first of all, I would say, one of the key learnings I've gotten so far in my career has been, number one, um, being open to opportunities, right? Looking for problems, right? A lot of times it comes from, being aware of your environment, reading, just being a curious, curiously minded person. Because if you look out for opportunities, like
Yeah.
you're open to opportunities, you're able to spot them when they arise. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'll give you an instance, right? I had an opportunity to get into trucking in COVID 2020. How was I able to do that? Before then, I was I just surfed the net, look at what's going on. Just I'm always online. I'm always reading the news, looking out, just getting as much information as possible, right? Now, when the opportunity presented itself, I just saw an ad somewhere that okay, this particular company was looking for partners to help them, move products across Nigeria during the COVID-19 period, and that's how I keyed in. I just applied and you know did my stuffs and everything and got it. But I noticed a lot of people just use the media wrongly, or I feel a lot of young people use the media wrongly. Just go for entertainment,
Mm.
using watching TikTok videos and all that. But in the same internet space, the people that are taking advantage of opportunities are actively looking out for what is being shared. Right. I think you mentioned being involved in communities. I actively involved in a lot of communities, a lot of entrepreneurial communities. I think about 2021 or so, I was involved in an entrepreneurial community that had about over 2,000 members. From there, you
Mm.
could, opportunities will come. You could see, okay, this person shared, this person's having a problem here, that kind of a thing. It just
Yeah.
comes, it comes with being open-minded, involving yourself in as much communities as possible. I think I was watching the Tunde Lumelu's interview with Scotty recently. This I don't know if you know this YouTuber Scotty.
Yeah.
His PA said something about increasing the surface area for lock, right? The more you increase your surface area, the more you're able to spot opportunities when they arise. The more, and if you're somebody that is
Mm.
creatively minded, when those opportunities come, you're able to, your brain, you know, connects the dots, right?
Mm.
If you're somebody that you're curious, when those opportunities come, your brain is able to put piece one and two together. No, this is a problem, this is a possible solution based on the information you had seen somewhere, right? Steve Jobs once said, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect it looking backwards, right? So
Mm.
in hindsight, you can see, okay, this is where I got this information, this is where I got this information. But if you're not able to actively look for those opportunities, putting yourself out there, being amongst a lot of communities, you're not able to spot those opportunities when they come. Right.
Mm.
I don't know if that answers your question, but for me, I
Definitely.
like to speak, directly from my own experience, right? Because in hindsight, I can see what worked for me. But when I was actually going through them, I just felt like, okay, I'm interested in this. I'm interested in entrepreneurship, right? Not a specific industry, right?
Yeah.
Um, but the fact that I was open, I read a lot. I serve the net, in my opinion, in a good way, right?
Mm.
I follow the right people I should follow. A lot of people just follow, I don't know what kind of people they follow. But once you're an ambitious person, you can, you know, top five, you can see the top five in your industry, follow them actively on social media. They share their thoughts, they share their this, they share their that. You can pick up learnings from them. Just open yourself as much as possible. My current
Mm.
business, which is selling enterprise software to fitness businesses, I do tell people how I started it was just by happenstance, right? I visited a gym in 2016, noticed that the gym had a problem. They were not keeping track of their attendance and all that. I spotted the problem based on the fact that I already had, a little bit of tech knowledge and all that. So, okay, tech can solve this. By then, I didn't even do any research or anything, but my brain automatically connected the dot that this is a problem, right?
Yeah.
You have the
Yeah.
solution in your head because I I already had a little tech background. I'm not an engineer, but I've tried one or two things in tech and all that. Okay, tech can actually solve this. Came back to Nigeria, also saw the same problem. Still connected it. When it was time for me to execute, it took me almost 7 years to execute, to even start the process, right? But by then, I'd already gathered enough learnings from different places. So I would say be open, be curious, read as much as possible, not just books especially, but anything readable, right? I learned copywriting and from just looking at billboards, right?
Mm.
I've looked at so much billboards that I can spot, where the sales trigger is and all that. So once you're open as much as possible to different things, just open your mind up as much as possible. It might be difficult at like when you're starting out, but over time you just get so you just become like a sponge,
Mm.
absorbing as much information as possible. Then when your brain needs to connect those dots, it automatically does it for you. You
Oh.
can't really say this is what that's why sometimes you ask some successful guys what led to, and they'll tell you is God. It's simply because they can't really pinpoint at
Mm.
what point it clicked, but they just opened themselves up as much as possible. And when the time came, they were able to take advantage of the opportunity. So I think that should answer the question. Yeah.
In fact, that's really amazing. Thank you very much. I wanted to ask a follow-up question, but you already answered a major part of it because I think one of the questions a lot, when you watch the environment a lot, you are able to connect the dots that this is an actual problem, and you are able to say, okay, I want to provide a solution for it. But if you don't have enough knowledge, enough exposure, you're not reading, you're not doing the needful, you just realize that such opportunity will come and then it will definitely slip away. I would like to say a very, very, very big thank you to our speakers so far. If you're still listening, please, I'd like you to spread in your emojis just to say, just to clap, appreciate them. You've been giving out a lot of valuable information that if you needed to, pay for these sessions, it's going to be a lot. And I mean, thank you very much, amiable speakers. Thank you. Thank you. I can see the reactions coming in. Thank you, everyone. Um, Thank you. I think that's the end of our panel session for this evening, asking dear speakers to share insights. And I like us to really, really, really appreciate them. Let's keep the emojis coming. Let's keep the emojis coming. Let's say thank you. Let's allow them to catch their breath. Let's allow them to drink water. I mean, that was a very, very intense one. Thank you. So while we allow them to do that, please, if you have questions, we won't be allowing anybody to unmute because, except you are in a location where it's quiet enough for you to ask a question. But if you are not in a quiet location to ask a question, please don't raise your hand so we can bring you to speak, right? Okay, so we're going to be going to questions from the audience right now. So if you have questions, I would like you to please send them into the chat. But if you're in a place where you can directly ask questions, you can do well to raise your hand and we'll give you 1 minute, to ask a question. All right, so I think the first question we have here. So my amiable speakers, this question I'm going to throw it out, and if any one of us is interested in answering, we can just either raise a hand or unmute and speak so that we can you know we can answer the questions as asked. All right, so David Michael is asking, how do you get clients or opportunities when you are just starting out? I think some of them have been said, but I don't know if any of the speakers would like to emphasize. All right, Mr. Temitayo, please, you can share more lights and insights into that.
Hello, David Michael. You have almost the same name as I do. My name is Temitayo Michael, so it's almost the same thing. The advice we were given, I was also given a similar advice, and I'm going to give you that same advice. It is show, don't tell, right? That's the first rule. Show, don't tell. So if you are somebody who is just starting out, what are the evidences that you're able to do what you are saying you can do? Now, if you don't have evidence or you've not done the job before, then the only thing you have is your passion, right? You have your passion, you have your aggressiveness, and that is when you start talking about internship, or you find somebody who is actually an aggressive entrepreneur and you offer to work with them for free. So basically, what you are trying to do at that point in time is you are trying to get evidences that you know how to do what you want to be doing for other people. So let's just pick something like maybe graphic design, because I'm seeing another question about graphic design here, saying he did 5 years of experience and the likes. So basically, you have an evidence, right? Now the next step, obviously, once you have evidence, is the offer, right? Offer means you either enter somebody's DM with an offer. Basically, you can talk to somebody who is a leader, an entrepreneur, and say, hey, let me work with you. That's an offer. Let me work with you for free. Let me intern with you for a period of time. You're going to give me reviews. You're going to give me testimonials. That's an offer, right? So the most important thing, or the biggest problem majority of us freelancers make, I'm also a freelancer, but right now I'm working on the startup, so I don't have time to freelance that much. But the biggest mistake we make is we don't go into people's DMs with offers. We don't think, how can I benefit these people? How can I this particular type of business? Okay, yeah, I'm designing for events, I'm designing for communities, and I have portfolios of design for communities. Why don't I look for platforms that combine or bring communities together? Reach out to the people that are in charge of the community. I have an offer for you. Think up of something, think of an offer that they would like or they would love to execute. I will do something for you. I can do maybe 5 of it for you, so you see how good I am. These are some evidence of the ones I've done before. How about we just work together whenever you need somebody to do this for you? So basically, you have evidence, you have an angle, you have done designs for communities before, then you proceed with sharing offers to people. Then you have to also make sure that you are not, how do we call it? You are not shy. You're not somebody who is shy. You're not somebody who is proud. Should we call it proud? Because we've seen people who say they don't want to be online. I think I mentioned it before. That they say they don't want to be online. They don't want their face to be online. One of the advices I recently had, I know everybody here is rich. I know everybody in this webinar is rich, but one of the advice I recently had is you cannot be poor and be shy. There are two things that cannot be mixed together. If you were from a billionaire family, maybe old money family, then yes, you can be reclusive, you can be shy. But if you are poor, you cannot be shy. You have to actually say it's a luxury thing, right? So you have to enter DMs, risk being insulted, go with your offer, send applications to different people as much as possible. So the most important thing is volume. Put it out. If you want to do content, even we that are doing content, we put out a lot of volume of content. I, on the average, no matter how busy I am, still try to put out at least a minimum of 5 pieces of content out per day, a minimum of 5 across different social media platforms. So basically, you need to make sure that you do more volume. You put out, the first thing, you make sure that you show, don't tell. So if you can't show, then you need to get evidence, right? Enter people's DMs. And most importantly, put out a lot of volume. If it's application, if it is code DMs, if it is content you want to create to attract clients, make sure that you do a lot of volume on a consistent basis. Don't just do it once off. You don't say, well, volumes maybe within a month, 30 days, you do 1,000 applications, then you stop. You expect it to start. You have to continue firing. That's how we actually got all of us that actually saw some process earlier on in our careers when we were in school and so on and so forth. We did a lot of volume. I built several businesses when I was in school. I built about 3 or 4 businesses when I was in school. And there was a time when the business I built, if you're somebody who is in Lautech, at the time I was in Lautech, there was one of the businesses we built that became one of the most popular businesses on campus at the time I was in school. So the most important thing at that point in time was I had about 8,000, there were about 11,000, 12,000 people on campus at that point in time. And I had about 8,000 contacts on my phone at that point in time. I reached out to everybody, almost everybody at every point in time. Hello, I would like to do, I do this, I do that. Give me your number. People will be like, I don't buy stuff like that. No problem. Just give me your number. I would have something for you in the future. So before you know it, I actually had I had one of the biggest broadcast lists at that point in time that was Ladokites alone. So If you don't have the money you want, or if you are not making what you want or the money you want, please don't be shy. Put out a lot of volume, and you are going to obviously get somebody who is going to be interested in what you're offering.
Hmm. Thank you so much. I mean, these are the basics actually. Someone said something like, if you want to be great in life, you have to be shameless. I mean, not shameless in the wrong way, like stripping off your clothes or doing like a mad person, but being very bold about what you do and putting yourself out there to say, oh, this is what I do. And I like people to, know about it. So thank you so much, sir Timothy, for that insight. I think, yeah, so we have the second batch of question from Mr. Ezekiel. Okay, so for Israel, but most of your question have been answered alongside the question for David Michael. You have to, if to increase your visibility, it won't be people reaching out to you. You have to reach out to people, let people know this is what you're doing, and they kind of have a name or a face that they are placing whenever they need a service, and it becomes you. So that's the level you need to get to, right? So Ezekiel Adeboye is asking, please, I want to ask, he's a aspiring data analyst, and he has spent months learning tools like Excel, SQL, Power BI, and Python. From an employer's perspective, what actually convinces you that someone is ready for their first data analyst show? I think it would be great to have Mr. Babatunde answer this from an HR perspective. Okay, frankly, all right. Mr. Frankly, please proceed.
Okay. I saw the question. I wanted to answer it.
Oh, great.
The person. Now, I've had a couple of people reach out to me, right, for different roles on LinkedIn and all that. I would encourage you, I think it's the lady that asked the question, to reach out to people as much as possible. I think it's a guy, Ezekiel. To reach out to people as much as possible. You can easily find founders on LinkedIn, right? Reach out to people and offer your services for free. If you haven't gotten a track record of deliverables, people easily take chances on you when there's no much commitment. You can easily work with startups that are in the I would say early stages of their growth, right? It's a lot easier for you to find those startups. Offer the founder can just it's very easy. If you go to LinkedIn, you can easily find them. Offer the founders, okay, let me work with you for so and so time for free. I have one of my staffs that reached out to me the same way. He offered me 2 months to work with me. Then, if I'm convinced that he's valuable enough, then I can offer him a paid role, and it's worked fantastic. When he started, he wasn't very experienced, right? But over time, he learned on the job. He convinced, put himself out there. He was always saying yes to almost every task, and eventually, he was hired full time. So I would encourage you first reach out to mostly startups, right? You need the experience on your CV, right? You need that on your CV. Look for startups. Reach out to the founders of those startups, most likely the CEO or maybe the HR. But I would ideally advise you reach out to the CEOs directly, right? Reach out to them, offer your service for free, at least. Then if they find you valuable, obviously they are going to pay to retain you. That's the trick of it. But if you start targeting the bigger guys, obviously I know at your stage you need money, right? So it's very tempting to just go out and seek employment, but the truth is, very few people have taken chances on you, so you need someone to take chance on you, right? Offer your service
Yeah.
for free. If the person finds you valuable enough, this person is obviously going to want to retain you. Then person can give you an offer, right? If the person doesn't find you valuable enough, well, you can, put that experience in your CV and keep reaching out until you find what you want. So there's no real trick to it. There's no way you can, make your CV fanciful enough or whatever. In my opinion, especially as a starter,
Mm,
just
yeah.
reach out to people, offer your service. Very important, right? offer it for free. Reach out to the founders directly. If you do for like 5, 6 founders, eventually want to take a chance on you. If they take a chance on you and you do a
Yeah,
fantastic job, you're going to get employed. It's as easy as that.
definitely.
So I hope that answers the question, Ezekiel.
Thank you. Yes. I hope that answers the question. For me, I think that's the best answer because the truth is there's nothing we can ask you to put because this is your first data analyst role. So your best bet is someone betting on you that you're great and that you can actually do this. Thank you so much, Sir Franklin, for sharing that insight. I mean, from a founder perspective, he has a company, and for him, hiring has to be based on deliverables. So it's whatever you can deliver that people eventually end up paying for. Okay, Mr. Tamita, you want to add something?
Oh, yes. I think I wanted to say the idea that you should offer your work or your services for free, right? Usually, it is not entirely free. Always have something you want to get in return, right? Now, one of the advices I gave earlier on when I was working with several freelancers who were starting freelancing was when you want to offer your service, ask for something in return. For example, a testimonial is not offering your service for free, right? So make sure that whatever you are offering, whatever you want to get back is stated immediately you are making that offer. So don't just tell somebody, I'm going to design for you for free. Tell them, I will design for you for free in the hopes that you give me a testimonial or you give me a video review, right? So, for example, that person writes you a testimonial on your LinkedIn. That helps you. That person makes a video testimonial for you. You can send it to the next client. That also helps you convert the next client, right?
Yeah.
So the most important thing is always make sure that before you give an offer, you are getting something back in return. So you don't just work entirely for free. It's a how do you call it? It's a misconstrued notion that you just work for free. No, always make sure there's something you want to get in return that the other person would be very willing and very happy to give you back.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. I mean, like on the long run, it has to come from the place of exchange. You are giving something and you're also getting something in return. If for you it's do something and then your point is getting a job after that, that is also another level of return, right? And if you also want to explore, okay, you want to get this, you want to get that, you can always add that. You just have to use your discretion based on your outreach. All right. Thank you so much, Satire, for that. We have I think we'll just be taking these last two questions and that will be all for tonight. I really want to appreciate our speakers once again and our sponsors for making this possible. Okay, Mr. Babatunde, can I just ask this question so you can probably answer it there because this is also related to HR, so you can just give the response to that. So I think David Michael says he has been editing for about a year and he has strong desire to keep learning and improving. However, he's not sure of which area of the industry you should focus on. When you don't have client work, what kind of videos you edit to keep improving? Also, what type of videos will you recommend I create to build a strong portfolio that will help me attract clients or opportunities in the future? So, Mr. Today, you can please give your comments and then, yeah.
Yeah, so I think when you solve the first problem, it'll be easy to, answer the second question. And I think you should not wait for clients to give you the experience. You need to create the kind of work that you want them to hire you for in the first place. And regarding, the industry you should focus on, you need to also determine your niche, right? I think many editors have known in some cases they make a lot of random edits without a clear goal. And that to me tells me they're not editing with the intention that they need to have. So Are you editing for the sake of for a documentary? Are you editing for commercials, corporate and brand, product, or YouTube, or just social media content? Is it for social engagement? You have to actually decide what kind of editor you want to become. Once you have that kind of direction, you'll be able to create projects by yourself that would tie into that niche. For example, if you want to work with a brand or with brands, for example, you can choose to do some free, video editing content in their products. And I think you might have come across so many content creators on YouTube that can tell you what they can do with just their iPhone, and they make some of these wonderful, edits. They make you look at the product from another perspective, and they create this out of passion, right? So you need to be able to actually identify your niche, and then you will now start looking into the edits you will make, because I would encourage that you recreate edits that you admire. And that's to say, you notice an edit from someone you probably follow on Instagram, or Twitter, because he does crazy edits with products or brands. When you try to recreate what he has done, you are also teaching yourself, right? I mean, you're not trying to claim it's yours, right? But it's like you're doing a bit of reverse engineering what they have done to understand where they came from. You might not get the vision actually, because they built the creative direction and the vision for that edit. But you need to come from a place of, let me reverse engineer what they have done in order to decipher where they are coming from. And when you do that, you are improving yourself. So you don't need to wait for, the client to give you experience, right? I would say that you should just build a portfolio of the editor you want to become, not the editor you currently are right now. So if your portfolio can show consistency in that kind of work, the kind of, editor you want to become, that you want to be hired for, I think you start having more clients, who are looking for that kind of style and expertise you bring from your work. So that's the best way to go about it.
Thank you very much. I think that's a clear part on how to go about it. Thank you very much. I think just allow Jacinda to answer that. Okay, so it's from Ezekiel, and he said his second question, he has two career paths, photography and data analysis. He wants to do both. How does he balance it without sacrificing excellence? Mr. Tirintayo, you can please respond to that.
Actually, I was interested in the video editor that said,
Okay.
I'll answer that as well. But I was interested in the video editor who mentioned earlier on that he has a strong desire to keep learning and improving. However, he's not sure which area of the industry he should focus on. Now, he mentioned something that I actually, he said when he doesn't have client work, what kind of videos do you edit to keep improving? One of the most, I'm a content strategist. One of the most important thing about content is we do repurposing, right? We do content repurposing. Now, one of the fastest way I believe a video editor can actually get jobs is if you can just upgrade your skill a little bit from just ordinary video editing to understanding what the other person on the side of consumption of a video is thinking, right? Now, for example, I create long form content on my YouTube channel, and a video editor that can strategically look at that long form video and create multiple short form content out of it for Instagram and the likes would be somebody I will appreciate. Now, let's say you want to offer a client or a potential client, you just found somebody with a YouTube channel, you found somebody you really like their work. The most important thing, you like their work, then you like what they are saying, right? You feel like you're also an audience of what they are saying. Now, you found that person on YouTube, then you found their Instagram page, and you notice that their Instagram page is quite scarce, or the content on their Instagram page is quite scarce. It is something you can pick one of their videos. There's nothing wrong with you picking one of their videos. Download it, right? Try to download the HD version of it. Cut some sections out of it, like 2 or 3 of it, then repurpose those ones. Do your advanced editing on it. Make sure that it is optimized for retention, it is optimized for hook, the hook is optimized, and so on and so forth. Then send it to that person when you are sending your application to work with that person, or your offer to work with that person. I found this video on your channel, and I figured out that out of this one video, about 10-20 pieces of content can actually be extracted from it. This is 2 out of the long form video that I extracted, or that I created, 2 short form videos that I created for you. Now that person sees it makes sense. If your work is good, like I said earlier on when we started the whole thing, I said it's very important that your work is the best compared to the others. Those are the things that actually determine if you get hired and if you get paid well. So once you send that thing to that person's DM, yes, some people will actually use your content or the content you created out of their content without asking for your permission. But if you did that to about 10-20 people in a week, right? You help them edit their videos, you created a better retention, and they actually saw the content you can do. It is very unlikely that within a month you won't get clients who will be more than happy to hire you. Then the other person, Ezekiel Adegboye. Now, you said you want data analysis and photography. You are both passionate about the two. I don't think both of them, I personally don't think both of them stop each other. That's in my opinion. But if you are starting out, the best thing you can do for yourself is pick one, right? Pick one at a time. Not just pick one forever, pick one at a time. It's good for you to have a passion in photography, for you to have a passion in data analysis. But if you want to start seeing traction fast, you want to start seeing results fast, if you don't care about results, it's a passion project, you already have something that is feeding you or that is giving you money, both data analysis and photography, you can do them simultaneously. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have something that is feeding you right now, but if you really feel like you need something that can actually start earning you money, the most important thing or the fastest way for you to build any skill is for you to pick one at a time. I have been a writer, right, for over 6 months to a year. That was all I did. I only wrote, right? I did UI UX classes for about 6 months, right? I did no code development for about a year now, right? I've done content marketing over a period of time. I've done the video editing as well, right? But every single time I pick up any skill or I try any skill, it is what I am doing at that point in time. I don't try to mix everything together at one point in time, right? I like to think that every single point of your experience contributes to wherever you get to at some point in time in your life. Right now, I was able to build an app without coding. I built an app, Creator This Africa, without coding. I didn't write a single line of code when I was building the app. I didn't hire a designer, a UI UX designer when I was building the app. The copy for the content of the app, I didn't hire anybody to do it, right? All of it were agglomerated skills that I have learned over the past couple of years. So at that point, all those things that I've learned brought me to this point. But if I was doing everything together, I wouldn't have been able to learn enough of each one of them for me to get to the point where I am at. Right? So I would advise you pick one at a time. Right? But if you have something that is actually feeding you, putting money in your pocket as a student, no problem. Just pick one and go out, or pick the both and just go with that.
All right, thank you very much for that insight. Okay, I think with this video, I really enjoyed the fact that speakers are actively contributing to the question. So I'm about to let the last comment we're taking in this question so we can close the session.
Yes, thank you. It's a bit of reinforcement of what has been said, just about now, because I think it depends on a couple of factors. As someone who kind of like, I'm very multidisciplinary, because as much as I'm in digital advertising, I'm also in HR, and I'm also a bit in influencer management to an extent. And one thing I've seen from my experience is like what Mr. Timothy said, you can't push both at the same time. You push one. However, you can find a subtle balance, and it's not in every situation. So I say this with a bit of caution at the same time. You can find a subtle balance in terms of what skills would a data analyst and a photographer have. What are the similar skills, or should I say, what kind of mutual skills would one have to be the best in both fields? And when you find that skill, for example, you can now push yourself to now grow that particular skill. And I will assume if you're in photography, you could equally, use data analysis to understand customers better, how they book well, and many more, right? And even your own pricing. And that is data analysis helping you as a photographer, right? And this is just me saying balance is important, and it's best you choose one, right, that provides some form of stability and, you know, consistent growth, which is where, you know, you have to focus on where you're making money. But your intentionality to develop that other career has to be a bit minimal. It can't be 50-50. That will spread you too thin, you know, and then you find yourself confused along the way. So the key is to manage your time with intention on your primary skill. You know, when you have your goals, you set your goals for each skill. But when you find that middle ground where one skill is important for both photography and data analysis, it might be easy for you to pursue. But along the line, you find yourself at best with one, it might eventually switch to the other, which again ties back into what was said earlier that, hey, I spent 6 months writing, right? But he had other skills along the line in the past, which is him not doing both at the same time. Created time for one, was perfect in that before moving to the other one. By that time, when you have all the knowledge, you will be, should I say, much more motivated to even, you know, go into the second one. But again, that's how I think you should also, what I think you should also consider, you know, when you're looking at both careers.
Hmm. Thank you so much, so Lottie, for that. I think you've said the core things you need to also identify by himself. I think at this point we can give a very resounding round of applause to all our speakers. Thank you very, very much for giving us this level of insights. Thank you, Mr. Temitayo. Thank you, Mr. Babatunde. Thank you, Mr. Franklin. And thank you so much, Mr. Olasokomi. It's been amazing, listening to all these amazing speakers this evening. And I think we can just do like a thank you in the comment section just to encourage them and also know that what they've shared is true value, right? That is, that's very important to the next level of things. So we believe as Out of Tech team, our job is to deliver this level of insights for you. Your job is to take the next step. These speakers will not live your life for you. They won't dictate how your life will turn out. You will, but you can use insights from what they've shared with you to build an amazing life that you want for yourself. Today you can sit here for 2 hours listening to them because they've invested a reasonable amount of time, of work, of development in their lives as well. So if you do the same, you definitely get results. So thank you very much, our amazing listeners. Also want to say thank you for staying till now. I mean, this conversation was really great, and it was amazing having you all wait till the end. Um, as well, I would like to say thank you to our sponsors once again for making this possible. Also, thank you to House of Tech and the founder of House of Tech, Mr. Timmy Tokbe. Thank you for making this possible. I also like to appreciate all our campus ambassadors that brought this information to you, share the information with you and why you're here. Thank you for your good work. And to the entire body and team of House of Tech FutureLab, I also want to say thank you to them. So thank you, everyone. And we hope that this is our pilot, our first step. We hope that when we have a physical event, everyone here will be able to connect with the speakers physically, and they will also be able to connect with you as well. So I'm sure you have all their names, so you can check for their LinkedIn, their contacts, you can reach out to them through this as much as possible. I'm not saying spam them. I'm just saying if your work aligns with what you do, you can reach out to them so they can also as well guide you on your next step. So if that will be it for us tonight. Thank you so much once again and have a good evening. I think speakers, we can just give them a round of applause as they exit and then we can all leave the call. So let's just give them a round of applause as he exits the call. Thank you so much, Mr. Franklin. Thank you so much, Mr. Timitayo. Thank you so much, Mr. Babatunde. Don't worry, we'll communicate further with you. Please ensure that you check the Charles, check the comment section. There's the link to the community. You can join so you get updates right on next step. So yes, that's a community you can join in. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good night.